Okay, so we left off with step 5, and you have permanently steam fused your motifs in place. Now we need to prepare the pearl cotton, and that's where we're at now. So step 6 in your direction sheet, I believe it's on the opposite side of page 3, and it's preparing your pearl cotton and thread, and we're at step 6. We're using this particular pearl cotton right here. It's a DMC, which is the brand name. These are long staple Egyptian threads that are dyed in France, I believe. DMC floss colors, pearl cottons, etc. are made in France. And it actually happens to have a name, and it's called Monet, which makes it a perfect color for our sea turtle. Forgive me, I'm not going to compromise this one because they're getting harder and harder to find. Plus, often I'm going to stitch with this color so that you can see it. So this is the one I'll prepare, but they're really brother and sister. They're done the same way. It's just that I don't want to cut into this one in case I need it to sell with one of the sea turtle kits. So preparing your floss. This is a size 5. This, if you've been along for the first 3 projects, this is, not only is it pearl cotton, meaning it's already twisted and you do not peel. I just looked at my directions for this and I've got a type out. Oh, somehow it left off the part where I wanted to emphasize do not peel pearl cotton threads. They're meant to be used as is. So you might want to go back in your step 6 direction sheet and kind of make a note. Somehow I don't know what it did. It auto-corrected and only gave me a K instead of the whole do not portion. But the first thing that I want you to do with this particular thread is to remove the 2 papers. I often recommend that you keep them, and I'll show you how I put them back on in a minute. That way we know it's DMC, we know it's size 5, and we know what color it is if we ever have to be looking for a specific color. Once you've removed those 2 papers, just kind of set them aside. You've got this twisted thing. You need to undo the first twist so it'll get twice as long as it was. Just kind of help it relax a little. And now it's basically in a circle. You just don't know it yet. Find the knot where they have the manufacturer knot is. Find that and just kind of gently lift side A away from side B. So see how I'm doing this? And now I literally have a circle. And then the next thing that I want you to do is right where that knot is, I'm going to ask you to grab some scissors. So I found the knot, it's right here. I've asked you to grab some scissors, and I literally want you to do a diagonal cut right through knot and everything. Because really, I want to end up with a clean end like this over here. So if I did it right, it'll let go and the knot will come away, and almost my knot is still right here and it's not a beautiful one. So I'm gonna just simply whack that off and that becomes trash. Once you've done that, this will be the longest thread we've worked with, but this is actually, you can't see it all in the field, so I'll try to do it like that. Maybe I'll do it in thirds so that you can see it. This little S shape right here, each one of these is basically a perfect strand to be stitching with. So then you'll just go back in and you will lift one each time you want to thread a needle. If you've got multiple needles of the correct size, thread more than 1 needle so that you're always ready. But that piece right there, singly, I'm going to remove this so that you can see it for a second. This single piece that I am not going to peel, remember, pearl cotton we use as is the right length to go ahead and stitch with. So with this, what I will often do is I'll take one end and I'll simply just rethread my paper loops right back on there. Let me make sure I'm in the screen. I'm going to rethread the paper loops right back on. And again, that's so I know it's DMC and I know what color it is. This one's not cooperating as nicely. Pinch it up here a little bit closer and then just kind of get it back inside there if you can. And then what I usually do is I usually just kind of put a real soft knot. I don't tie it tight, just like that. Just a loopy knot to hold that all together. And then again, each time I need to rethread, I go back to that. I believe you all should have received the correct color, what I'm calling aqua, the Monet thread, in your kit, specifically with the sea turtle. Once you stitch the sea turtle, you're probably going to have maybe 4 to 7 of these strands left out of this whole thing. You might have used that much thread, so please don't use it on anything else until you're sure you've got enough to finish the sea turtle. So that's a way of purchasing it. If you're using a solid thread for any reason, you might find it like this in a ball. It's actually the same pearl cotton thread, and then you would just pull out the amount you need and cut it. And then sometimes if you can't find a color at all, you're back to the original floss colors that we used. If I were to use floss, we peeled it down to 2 layers. This is what you do peel. Again, you shouldn't need it for this project because you've got this one. But if you do need to use floss for a project such as this, then you would find the end, and there's directions for that on the previous videos. And you would peel the number of strands that you need. To simulate a thread as thick as this, I might peel 3 or 4 threads and use those each time. You can stitch with a 6, but it's awfully thick. And it, you just may not find that you like doing it that way. So I hope that was instructive. Again, we learned how to open this up and peel it, not peel it, but open it up and get it into a loop, cut the knot away, put the papers back on so that you have it prepared and ready, because it is a little bit of a different animal the way it was presented from the commercially, which is basically called we call this a hank. And so we had to get it from hank form into usable form. So we'll see you next, I think at step 6B with starting to do some stitching.